Welcome in to PDL Weekly. My name's Nicholas Murray, very pleased to be joined by PDL Senior Director Ryan Brooks. And Ryan, some very big performances in the PDL this past week, starting up in the Northeast Division with the Ottawa Fury. 3 wins, 3 shutouts, some great performances by Chad Bush, Carl Hayworth, Sean Foster, and now they've got a really nice cushion at the top of that division.
Yeah, they've been playing well. 3 games, they got 9 points this past week, which really catapulted them up. Pretty stable up there in first place in that division. So they had a great week last week.
Another team that had a really good week, this time on the road, Victoria Highlanders. They were able to capitalize. They took a very good point against the Vancouver Whitecaps U23s, then went and beat the Portland Timbers U23s, and now they have a 6-point cushion at the top of the Northwest Division. They look set for the playoffs.
Yeah, we talked about them last week. They had 2 big games this past weekend. They were able to get 4 points out of that weekend, which was very big for them to maintain that top spot. To get 6 points would have been great. To get 4 points was kind of maintain the status quo. 0 points would have really allowed the other teams to step up, but that obviously didn't happen.
Really good job by Brett Levis getting the job done there, scored in both games. Rail Colorado, another team that got itself back into the playoff picture. It's probably not going to catch Thunder Bay, but now solidly in second place in the Heartland Division with 2 good wins against Winnipeg.
Yeah, they got 6 points. They have a lot of games they haven't played yet, so they have a lot of games in hand.
Yep.
So they have 2 this weekend versus Springfield, so it's another 6 opportunity for 6 points for them, and for them to get the second place and to stay in second place. And yeah, it will be difficult to catch Thunder Bay, but we'll see about that.
Well, those games against Springfield this weekend, very big. Springfield in 4th place. Yeah. And they really need to close the gap because, as you mentioned, Rail Colorado has a few games in hand on them at this point.
Yeah. For Springfield, they need these points. Springfield needs these points, and Colorado obviously needs them too, but obviously for different reasons.
Now, we've had some teams creating separation. Go back to the Mid-Atlantic Division, and it's maybe an even bigger mess than it was this time last week with everyone. We had 2 draws between Jersey and Reading. We had Ocean City taking a very nice win against Central Jersey. But now the Long Island Rough Riders have crept into the picture. They're in second place right now after a 5-0 win against FA Euro last night. And suddenly we've got 5 teams vying for 3 places instead of just 4. It's going to be a dogfight all the way to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be to the last day. It really is. I mean, we talked about it. We talked about a 4-man race. Now all of a sudden, now it's a 5-horse race. And Long Island has 2 games in hand, I believe. And so they're. They got 9 games right now.
And I think so.
Yeah, and so it's going to be, pretty tough for them to really, for Reading to really get above. But we will see.
Now, Long Island got some good performances from Tyler Boat over this weekend. Ocean City was powered by Frank Twenoboa, who he's small in stature, but he's a little dynamo for that team, and scoring 3 goals, adding 2 assists against the Spartans. He's really been a catalyst for Ocean City these past 2 seasons, winning the division last year and now in contention to reclaim their crown this year.
Yeah, Ocean City couldn't afford to lose, as really any of the teams in that Mid-Atlantic division can afford. They can't afford to lose any. So to have that big win, 3 goals, 2 assists, Player of the Week, he did a great job versus a Central Jersey team.
Now, down in the Southeast, as opposed to, we have the bottleneck in the Mid-Atlantic. We had 2 teams in Panama City Beach, and especially Ocala, pull away from the pack a little bit this weekend. Ocala, great performance. Kyle Breitmeyer, Will Knight, putting together a really good performance against Orlando City U23. These 2 teams have a 5-point cushion with Austin in the Mid-South, and those 2 teams, might we know already 3 of the teams for the Southern Championships?
Right, it's looking that way right now. You have Ocala and Panama City, and right now that they've really got themselves a little bit above the rest. And it was at that game for Ocala, Orlando City, and Ocala obviously had a 5-1 victory. They played really well. I was very impressed with them. Orlando City just didn't come out with the same fire that I felt like they came out in the beginning of the year, and Ocala made them pay for it.
Now, speaking of the Mid-South Division, obviously Austin's at the top, but we've got a big game tonight in Laredo. The Heat hosting the Aztecs, and I'm sure everyone in Oklahoma City will be looking on because The Heat have a couple of games in hand, and they have a chance here to close the gap on Oklahoma City for second place and that fourth spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, Laredo need to win, and Oklahoma City, I'm sure, is really rooting for Austin. But Laredo really needs this win right here versus Austin. Austin's obviously a tough team, obviously one of the best teams in the whole PDL. And so it'll be a tough task for them, but for Laredo to really get into the playoffs and for them to get above and to reach Oklahoma City, they need this win tonight.
Big game for Austin too, because if you think about it, they could be playing for top seed and the chance to host the Southern Championship, and maybe if they get that far down the line, maybe a chance to host the PDL Championship. Other big games this weekend: Southwest Division. We've got LA Misioneros and FC Tucson. Tucson almost had the perfect weekend, denied by a late goal by Ventura County Fusion on Sunday, kept them from getting 6 points, held them to 4. The Misioneros, they left points on the table against the OC Strikers as well. And now these two teams, it feels like if one team wins this one, they stay alive. The team that loses this, they might be dead in the water as far as the Southwest Division race is concerned.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. In this game, is whoever wins really has a chance to catch Ventura. So, huge game, probably biggest game of the season for them.
Now, up in the Northeast Division, we already talked about Ottawa. Two teams behind them, Western Mass and the GPS Portland Phoenix, meet this weekend. They're tied on points. They're both vying for that second spot in the Northeast Division. Massive game for both sides.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have two teams right now that are really trying to get a hold of that playoff spot for the play-in game, and so they're playing against each other. So if you want to get in, then you obviously have to play and beat the team that you are competing against. So you're not hoping for another team to hopefully they lose or hopefully we win. That really has a chance to play against each other.
Big test for GPS's defense against Alan Carr Jr., who had another hat-trick this past weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle him. And then Mid-Atlantic Division, there's only really one game between the top 5 teams this weekend, and it's Baltimore against Reading. I think this could be a really good matchup. Two quality teams full of top college players. Certainly will be worth watching this weekend if you can get out and get a chance to go out and see that one.
Yeah, two good games, or one good game. Two good teams that are playing against each other, and we'll say one team might separate themselves, but then again, knowing that division, it'll probably end up being a tie.
All of the action this weekend you can follow live on Twitter. We'll have full-time scores at USL PDL as soon as we receive them. You can also get updates, previews, and game reports on Facebook. We hope you enjoy all the action this weekend. For Ryan, my name's Nicholas. Thanks for joining us.